Welcome to Midlife, y'all. Search for meaning in the middle. And I can't think of someone I'd rather talk to in this moment about that search for meaning in the middle than our guest today, Cheryl Girard. Hey, Cheryl.
Hi. Thank you so much for
Oh my
being
gosh.
here. I'm so excited.
I know, me too. So we've known each other for a long time. We haven't been in each other's orbits for a while. But I am very excited to talk to you because the last time I was in your orbit, you had just launched a beautiful and literal body of work called Flesh and Soul. So I would love for you to start by telling us about that journey.
Sure. So that was exactly 3 years ago to now. And it was me going on a journey of self love, wanting to. I've been struggling with my weight and body image all my life. And so I wanted to go on a journey to love myself more and really look at my body, find a new way to look at my body, find a new way to love my body. And so I went on this journey. It was very vulnerable. I ended up painting myself. And then I decided I was going to do a show. So I was very public about this whole journey of this is my body. Let's look at it together. Let's see how we can reframe, how we feel about our bodies, and can we change the perspective somehow. And so that was my intention with that, and I did.
And when we say you painted your body, you painted it on canvases. Like you made an art installation that was reflections of how you saw yourself.
Yes, and I wrote through the whole process. So I ended up I have 26 paintings. There's watercolor and acrylic paintings. There's some stitching. There's some embellishments on some of them. I also have a video that I made from a photo shoot that I did. I have a couple of experiences. I have a rage experience, and I also have a healing experience, which I didn't have in the
Ooh.
beginning. Yeah. Um, and I've done 10 shows. I did a road show in Miami, which was amazing. So, like, this show can go on the road. I still want to do the show. I did a show in October in San Diego. I'm still looking to do shows because the show itself is very impactful. And so after that, I sat with it. I'm like, okay, what now? I wanted
Yeah.
shows, but also what now? And someone at one of the shows said, you should do a TEDx talk. And so I was like, huh. And so I had this little like bee in my bonnet that I wanted to do a TEDx talk. And I wrote it, and I'm like, not sure that this is exactly the message that I want to say. So I sat with it and I allowed my
What about it didn't feel right?
the message is not just let's love ourselves, because that's not enough. And it's not taking
Ooh.
everything into account. It's overused, and it
Yeah,
didn't.
so what is enough? I love what you're saying. Loving yourself isn't enough, so what is enough?
What is enough is, why don't I love myself? Why
Oh, yeah.
they don't why am I spending so much time hating myself? Or what's at the root of this really is what's enough.
Yes.
So my show message, my show was an exploration. It's very valid, very beautiful, very vulnerable, and it gets people digging in places where they probably don't dig very often. And if I was going to go on a TEDx stage, I wanted to come out with something that people could like walk away with and really,
Sure.
okay, I get this point that she's making, or this change she wants us to have. And so I gave myself time to, and so also during that process, I learned that binge eating disorder was an actual diagnosis for an eating disorder.
Mm.
I didn't know that. I thought, either you're anorexic or bulimic, or you're just eating too much and not exercising and getting to be a fat person and be miserable. Like, I didn't know that what I was doing
Yeah.
actual eating disorder. So I learned that from someone at one of my shows. Um, and and have been in a recovery or in a program for the last year. So I just
So you learned that in the journey of after you put up your show out there and you were traveling with it, this new information came to you.
yes. Yes.
Wow.
There was a woman at one of my shows who, the LAX Chamber of Commerce, their women's auxiliary group, um, put on a show, sponsored a show for me. And one of the women there is part of the National Eating Disorder Association. And so she was talking to me after, and I was like, okay. And I didn't follow up on that right away. I didn't for
Mhm.
a while, but I sat with it and I was like, okay. I didn't know that
With
this
that language of binge eating disorder.
right. Just the idea
Okay.
that there's help out there for me with what
Okay, got
that
it.
I don't need to deal with this by myself, or that um this isn't that this is something that I can
It's diagnosable. It's not some
yes.
flaw or weakness
Oh,
within a
yes, thank you.
human.
Thank you. Thank
Yes, because this
you.
is the thing about because you and I both have had disordered eating. I was anorexic as a teenager, that became bulimia, then that became binge eating, so I didn't even know that binge eater was a thing. Um, and it just takes over your life. It just consumes so much mental energy and judgment and blame and trauma and all the things. And when in the times of my life that I am free or that voice is less and I can see clearly, there's so much more joy, there's so much more awareness, there's so much more space for other things. So I'd never heard of binge eating disorder. I love that it's an actual diagnosis because I believe it to be real. I know that I could diagnose myself with that in my journey. Um, what has there been freedom in diagnosis? Sometimes I think there's freedom in diagnosis rather than what's wrong with me. It's like, oh, there's a word for this.
I felt like a failure at life because of my body, and like, why can I not
Yeah.
get thin and be thin? I can do so many other things. I'm so successful in so many areas of my life, and it's the one place. So I even felt like a failure at eating disorders. I'm like, well, I mean, I wanted to be anorexic, and I tried to be bulimic, and I don't like throwing up, and didn't work, and
Yeah.
so I just ended up being a binge eater. And so it was a relief to know that this is treatable. And then the treatment itself is very liberating.
Ooh.
Very, very liberating. I have a completely different perspective and relationship to food right now. And I wouldn't say that I'm exactly where ideally I'd like to be. How
Yeah.
when I'm reviewing the year, and my team is like, Cheryl, you're kicking ass. Like, you have done so much. So it has been tremendous for me to explore this new way of being, even just thinking about food. And
Yes.
yeah, it has helped me tremendously. Um,
That's that's so beautiful. And yeah, to your earlier point, like when I was anorexic, people like I thought I was fat. People were like, "You are sickly." And in fact, I had my mother was a home ec teacher, but she wasn't teaching at this time. But my home ec teacher, I was in junior high, called my mother because they had gone to college together and was like, "I think your daughter has this eating disorder, and is there anything I can do to help?" And my mom was in denial, so she did nothing. And the shame of not getting help, but then the shame of not being a successful anorexic because then I gained weight, you know? And so like, man, there's so many stories here. And you and I were talking just before we hit record about women of all shapes and sizes really resonating with this message. So I'd love to hear about the response from women to your beautiful body of work and this message.
well, I haven't really been out there uh, with this message. I'm working on my signature talk. Well, I've written my signature talk. I want to speak now, and I want to speak about the whole beauty paradigm. This thing that we've just been dropped into, and we believe that it's all true. We have to look a certain way, be a certain way to matter, to be loved, to be good enough for ABCD, and
Yeah,
we're just it's the best analogy I can come up with is religion, and I hope this doesn't rub anyone the wrong way, but it's like you're born
it does.
okay, good. Love it. You're born into a family of a certain religion if you are, and then you grow up in that religion because that's the paradigm that you're brought up in until you go out into the world and you realize, oh, there are other ways of thinking about religion or
Right.
spirituality, and you find your own way. Maybe you stick with your original paradigm, that's fine. But it's the same thing. You're just dropped into this thing. Women have to be thin. Women have to be beautiful. Women have to be sexy. Women have to be attractive. Women have to care about those things. If they don't care about those things, there's something wrong with them. I think that's all bullshit. And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. And I want people
Yeah.
to start. I'm tired. I'm sad, actually. It breaks my heart that women spend so much time and effort on beauty because they feel like they need to. It's different if you're just, I'm not saying I'm not against beauty and I want to look cute. I'm not going to lie.
We all wanna look cute. I mean, yeah.
We want to feel cute, right? We want to feel like
Yeah.
people see us. Really,
Yes,
it's all about
that's
being
it.
seen. We want people to see us in our authenticity. How authentic are we being if we aren't able to leave the house without a full hair and makeup? Like how real are we being? I don't know. I'm questioning all of it. And
I
so
think it's great to question
yeah,
it. I think it's totally great to question it. We were talking again before we hit record, and I'm glad we started recording because this is so valid. Um, I worked in aesthetics and beauty for the last 6 years, and to do that in midlife is very humbling because there are a lot of young and cute girls, and I felt judged. A lot of that I think was my own stuff. Some of that was real. Um, but I, towards the end of my tenure, thought about a facelift every day when I would get up in the morning. Can I tell you, since I've left that job in August, I don't think about a facelift every day. Now I still think about it occasionally because I'm human, but like it was so, and nobody did this to me. I did this to myself. So to your point, and we actually talk about this a lot on this podcast because I think each of us needs to find our own way to age, whatever that looks like for us. You want to be Kris Jenner and look like your 20-year-old daughter, so be it. But what message are you sending every woman who sees what you're doing?
right,
What message are you sending? I feel like I've never said this, but I feel like the Kardashians have been so detrimental. Number one, let me say this. Thank you for making a booty acceptable. I will give them credit for that. The rest of it, they have all morphed into something that wasn't natural. And what message does that send the tens, hundreds of millions of women specifically who follow along? What
right.
is that saying? What is that saying about how I look when I just wake up in the morning? I have a 15-year-old niece who has always been super just accepting of herself, except now all I hear is fat, ugly, blah, blah. And I'm like, ooh, this shit's real. And it happens at 15, and we talk about it all the time because I'm like, let's keep talking about it. I don't have all the answers, so let's keep exploring it. But what I want to make sure we circle back to, because I love that you said this, that when you were touring and you were sharing, women of all ages, sizes, shapes were resonating. And I'm just curious, what were some of the feedback they gave you that really spoke to them or touched them?
Well, I share stories in my show, and so, one of the stories I'm walking them through a binge, basically, and this tiny little person, she's like, "Oh my god, I do the exact same thing." You know, she it
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean you're a large body person. People can relate to the binge eating, and, I think people can just relate to feeling invisible if they don't look good.
Yes.
And middle age, aging is a whole other thing.
We start to become invisible.
Yeah, it's like it's and that makes me sad also. I'm like, "Oh my god, when do we get to
Yeah.
rest? When do we get
Yeah.
to rest?" It's great to want to be healthy until the end. It's great to
Yeah.
be able to be active and do all these things and look a certain way. And also, it's really unrealistic. And I'm kind of pissed about it, to be honest. I'm like, do I ever get to relax, or do I have to be constantly striving and being good enough until the day I die? Do I ever just get to be comfortable and happy in my own skin?
Well, I think that's the choice, right? I think that's what you're saying is I think we get to ask ourselves, What if I chose that now?
Right.
What if I put the measuring stick down that I'm never gonna measure up to because it's someone else's measuring stick, or I'm measuring against someone else that we don't have the same genes, we don't have the same life, we don't have the same. And what if I just allowed myself to be and have grace
Yes.
and take care of myself and be healthy and rest? Cheryl, I am so guilty of not giving myself permission to rest. I am so guilty because I got a lot of things I want to do in this life and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. I mean, I could give you all the reasons. Steadman work ethic, whatever. And I'm really consciously reminding myself when I remember, because the perimenopause brain doesn't always remember, what if you did less? What if your gift right now was less, not more, less? And it's so hard. This is what I, so last week, we're midlife, y'all. I had my shingle shot, my second one took me out.
Oh,
Now,
no.
I had my first one years ago and never gone back for the second one because I didn't have time for it to take me out, allegedly.
I had to get
So when
2.
I had my physical this year, I was like, I think I need the shingle shot. And she was like, great, it's your second. I was like, yeah, but anyway, she prepared me that maybe I wouldn't feel well. Well, that was at 11 a.m. Not cut to 9 p.m. at night. I am shaking uncontrollably with fever and like I couldn't even make tea. It was the most intense thing ever. And that forced me to rest all weekend. Can I tell you how much I loved resting all weekend? It was amazing.
Mhm. I think what you just said, you don't allow yourself to rest. And there's pressure. Like, yes, you might genuinely choose to do all these things. You want to do all these things. I want to do a ton of things. And it needs to be okay if I don't, and
Yes.
so I guess first it needs to be okay with me and I need to
Yes, I
decide.
was gonna
Like,
say that, yeah.
I can decide that it's okay. And it's difficult to live in a world where it's not okay. So I guess
Yes.
the reason I want to talk about all of this is so that people realize what this is a paradigm that we live in, that we have to do. We have to keep on accomplishing. We have to look good until we die. You don't know how
Yeah.
happy I get when I watch a movie now and there's a completely wrinkled actress on. I'm like,
Jamie Lee Curtis is my
"Yes,
spirit animal.
Helen Mirren," and there's another lady too. I'm like,
Frances McDormand. I mean, these ladies look so good, aging well. They're
"Mm,
aging.
yes, I'm so happy to see that somebody is being, real." And I don't want to, like you said, you get to choose. People that want to do
Yeah.
work and do all the things, you get to choose. I just really hope that it's because it honestly makes you feel good and makes you
Yeah.
feel like more of yourself instead
Yeah.
of doing it because you feel like you have to, like you won't be accepted if you don't, or you won't.
Yes, that you're not enough.
Yeah, you won't get to continue being this awesome Lisa Steadman unless you look a certain
Yeah.
way. You know, I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on Threads at all, but I love Threads because the midlife conversations are epic. Nobody pulls any punches. Everyone's keeping it really real. And so we talk a lot about rage, but there's a new conversation happening that I think is happening because of GLP-1s. There's a conversation about I lost weight and people are starting to treat me differently and it makes me uncomfortable. And I remember the moment that first happened to me. I had always been overweight and I was in my probably mid 30s and I had reached a new low that apparently told society I was acceptable. Because in the span of 1 week, the world started treating me differently and I was so uncomfortable. People were talking to me, people were making eye contact. I remember there was a guy on a motorcycle outside my window when I was leaving a concert with a girlfriend and I was like, "What the fuck is he looking at?" She's like, "Lisa, he's looking at a cute girl." But, like, I wasn't prepared for that, and I think the same thing is happening with invisibility around weight. I remember I've been on GLP-1s, and I love them because they change my relationship with food, and they help me balance my relationship with food. That's what has been the gift for me. I don't think everyone should be on them. However, when I first started my journey, I got really angry because I thought, everyone's gonna do this because we all just wanna be skinny. And how sad is that? I got sad even though I was doing the exact same thing. I did it because I have chronic pain and I was hoping it would diminish my chronic pain, and it did somewhat. Um, but I just so I want to just go double back on like how has your own work around body acceptance and healing in a GLP-1 world informed how you own, honor, and love your body and how you want the rest of us to continue to do so.
Yeah, it's very complex and layered, as you can imagine. I'm the exact same weight I was when I started Flesh and Soul. My body has not changed. My relationship to it has, and I
Yes.
have never I can honestly tell you that I've never felt more worthy in my whole entire life than I do now.
I love
So,
this.
I know that I have progressed in lots of ways. Would I still like my body to transform? Yes, I would, and I feel like it will. And I also, I've been down the GLP rabbit hole in my head like multiple times, and I'm really digging in my heels a little bit that I want to really get to the root of my issues.
Yes.
I understand that there's chemical things that can happen, and yes, it's assistance and it can help me. And also I really I need to do a little more work. I might end up on them at some point. I don't know. Right now, I feel like it's important for me to continue on this journey of exploration around the food and the emotional eating and things that I'm still doing. Um, and I I just had a photo shoot. I needed headshots and I needed some new photos. And so this person I know through a mastermind who's a great photographer, Rose Pierce Photography. She's fantastic. She offered to do this photo shoot for me. And taking photos is the one of the least favorite things I like to do in the entire world. We had so much fun. I got in alignment that day. I just zen.
Good.
I am
I see, I was gonna say, I love it, like, put me on a photo shoot set and let me just go.
I mean, I might change my mind at some point. We had so
I
much
think
fun.
yeah.
We had so much fun, and she is so good at posing, and I'm telling you, these pictures are the best pictures I've ever taken in my entire life, and for me, it's like a full circle moment to get back to your question, because my body is exactly the same size, and I've never felt more beautiful than I do in those pictures, and the reason I look so beautiful is because my essence is just beaming
Yeah.
through, like, it has nothing to do with the size of my body, and
No, it never does. It never did, and it never like, yeah, I've photographed myself at all
oh,
because I
okay.
used to brand entrepreneurs, so, like, I was always doing photo shoots with them, so I'd always hop in. I photographed myself at every size, and I look beautiful at every size,
Mhm,
but I had to see that and receive that and then believe it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think too, this isn't really the question you asked, but I feel like part of me is holding on to this body because I'm looking for my man, I've been looking for my man forever. Um, and I only want us, like I want a real connection to this person. I don't have a type. I don't know what he's gonna look like, any of that stuff. And part of me really wants to meet him in this body because
Mm.
I need to know that he really sees me and really loves me for who I am instead of
I love that.
somebody else in a thin body, which, I have all kinds of thoughts about that as I'm saying it out loud. And also, I know that that's really true for me, that it's important for me. I've been thin before and I've not had good luck with men as a thin person. And um, I
So
really,
that's real.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would really
And
love to meet my guy in this body.
yes. So there's 2 things here, and they're both true, right? Like, yes, you can meet your man at any shape or size. Yes, you want to meet him at this shape and size. And should you be smaller at some point, you can change the kind of relationship you've had with men being a smaller person. All those things can be true at
Yes,
the same
yes, I
time because of the work we do on ourselves, basically.
And for me, I relate the size of my body to me being in true alignment with myself. Like, I feel like if I'm fully in alignment, I know my body will shift. And I'm not intending to be supermodel skinny, whatever. I don't want anything unrealistic.
Yeah.
Healthy weight where I feel good, where I can move around, where I can look good in clothes and I feel happy and all of that.
Yeah.
So I it's that alignment piece which I'm getting
Yes.
there. I mean, I've done so much work. I feel really, really good and I'm doing these things in public, this being vulnerable and courageous, and every time I do something, I'm like, "What the hell are you doing, Cheryl? This is so stupid. Like, stop it
I
already."
love it
And I do it anyway, and I'm always so happy that I did because the people that
because you know you were supposed to.
yes, and the people
Yeah.
me after and the things that they say and they even for them to just witness my courage and vulnerability is a gift to them. They say, "Oh my god, just listening to you share your story, whether it's their story or not, or they saw themselves in that story, is something that they're taking away with them." So, um, I know that this is what I need to be doing.
Yes, you're so right on your path. And, you know, we turn our mess into our message. And so, I mean, I used to write about breakups because the love of he was not. Let me be clear, he was not the love of my life. I thought he was the love of my life, but that breakup was so painful because he was the first person I ever really felt seen by
Mm,
and loved by. And while we were perfectly imperfect for each other, that was what made it difficult to walk away. And so I built a breakup brand because in my head, on some level, I thought, well, if I can't have you, I can have the memory of you. And I'm glad I didn't stay in that space. But that journey informed so much that came after it, including finding my man, because I had to get clear wait, I'm making decisions that aren't on my best behalf. Like, I love you. You're moody. I can't handle mood swings. I'm too, my nervous system can't do it. So now I'm with a Virgo and it's awesome. Um, but I say all that to say that like this journey that you're on, Cheryl, is getting you every step of the way towards a more fully realized you,
yes.
which is when people come around and go, I see what you're working with and I'm in, and I want to play full out with this version of Cheryl.
The great thing is that I've built communities. Well, I built my Flesh and Soul community. That was the first. Like these people just I did a Kickstarter, as you know, and people just flocked in. It was so beautiful to know that I had all this support. I it really blows my
Yes.
mind. So that was the first community, and then I've jumped in a couple other communities, and I always had Red Circle, my writing community, and I've been supported in so many ways and loved in so many ways. And I am like, love is everywhere in my life, everywhere. And I have the
So you
opportunity.
know what it feels like.
Yeah, I know what it feels like. And I'm ready for romantic love and I'm not desperate for romantic love. I'm fine on my own. And I really just want that. I mean,
You're allowed to want it.
I
It's
want it.
human nature
You
to
know?
want love.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I'm being as authentic as a person can possibly be. So I don't wanna be anything but that. I want the guy to be like, "I want some of that," you know?
Yeah.
And, um, all of this work is helping me be more of myself and be more accepting
Right.
of myself. Um, and seeing that I am accepted by so many people is in all the ways. So I'm just grateful.
Thank you, Miriam. This speaks to my heart because you're really speaking about being true to yourself and loving all sides of yourself and asking the really difficult questions. The way, like, why don't I love myself? Like, you're going to unearth so many more things than I love me,
Yeah, yeah,
love me. Woo, I love me. And so how that then translates into being in loving relationship and loving partnership. I remember the summer I met my husband, I did this exercise every day. And I was like, I recognize that I choose love that feels challenging because I believe I'm not worth love that feels good.
mm,
I think I have to chase and I have to starve myself and I have to bend over backwards to get you to notice me and be there for me and all the things. And so I started to redefine what I wanted love to look like. And I was like, oh, love is here. Love is available. Love feels good. Love sees me and wants me too. Like all the things. And it would change. But every day I would do this. And when I met my husband, who was at a bar and sitting at the next table, and you've probably heard me say this, looked 12, like he looked so young. And I was like, whatever. Okay, cute. I mean, I literally thought he was gay. He was talking about cooking. He's an amazing cook. But I just had no concept because I still hadn't like figured all my shit out. But I was wise enough to recognize that the person sitting next to me made me feel the way I said I wanted to feel.
Mm,
And so when he got up and left with his friends and asked for my number, the old me would have been like, he's too young or he's gay or what, whatever. And I would have blown it. And instead I was like, sure. And let me be clear, I made some stumbling blocks along the way. Like I flaked on our first date, like I was still making some mistakes. And he just called me on it. He was like, I'm never going to ask you out again unless you, and I was like, oh, so I share that to say that like it's here and it's just a matter of moments in time.
mhm.
And when you recognize it, it recognizes you. And I love this journey. I've witnessed from a very back seat parts of your journey, Cheryl, and it's been a privilege and an honor and a pleasure. And thank you for coming and sharing this. I want to keep going with this conversation because now you're talking about you want to do a TED Talking, you want to have a national speaker platform. So, where do you see taking this message?
I mean, I wanna take it wherever, wherever someone will listen. However,
Yeah.
I do feel like the recovery circuit, eating disorder recovery circuit is a great place to start. And also, I did do a program out of school, middle school, which the girls were kinda young, 7th and 8th graders. But I think middle school, high school, I really want to talk about these things in schools because it starts so young.
Oh, yeah. Oh, too young.
Yeah, and I also any women, mostly women, but I also there's always a handful of men at my shows, and I think hearing what the men have to say is so juicy.
Well, I want to hear. What do they say?
They're
What
honestly,
do they share? What are they open to share? I love that they're sharing because
yes,
they're there, but that they're sharing.
and someone dragged them there most of the time, like their wife or their
But
step.
they needed to be there.
They don't realize how deeply we feel about these things. They really don't realize what we're going through, and I think it's very eye-opening for them, and also they see themselves. The last show I was at, the husband and wife who hosted me, he talked about not wanting to take his shirt off, He's like, and he's
Oh,
thin and
wow.
fit, he's a
Yeah.
he's not a lot he's like, "I'm too insecure to take my shirt off." Men feel it too. It's
They
just
feel it too.
they do feel it. It's different. I'm not gonna say they have it the way that we do. However,
They don't.
they have their version of
Yes.
body shame and expectations. And I feel like as we talk about it, what's really important for me too is to talk about comparison and the way that we
Mm.
as women keep it alive because we're keeping it alive by judging, by comparing, by, like, we act like someone losing weight is the greatest accomplishment anybody could do. It's like, oh my God, you look so thin. You're so literally what else gets that reaction? Like,
Yeah.
not much. And there's so many,
Little baby.
yeah,
Oh, your baby.
right. Like there's so many more important things in the world than
Yes,
and we need to talk about it. I feel like I don't have all
we
the
do.
answers. I don't know what this is going to do for the world. What I want it to do is open up people's minds. Hopefully we can have a shift of mindset around this about all the ridiculous energy that we put into it and how it's harming us because it is harming us. It is
Yes.
harming
It
us,
is so harmful.
and it's harming our young
I
people. It's harming us. It just is.
yeah.
More than it's making us feel good. Because there's a whole argument for, like, the better I look, the better I feel. I get that, and within reason, like, I feel like this whole, need to look and be a certain way and not be able to grow old gracefully and accept ourselves the way we are is more damaging than good. So
Well, yeah, it impacts it impacts mental health, self-esteem, but it also, I mean, anything you internalize emotionally turns into stuff in the body. One of my other conversations I'm having on Threads right now is around not just that people are starting to treat you differently because you've lost weight. A woman said this, posted this on Thread yesterday, and I messaged her back and I said, "I'm sorry this happened to you." Because she said, "I lost a bunch of weight, and and my coworker told me she was so relieved that I wasn't so fat anymore."
Oh,
And I was like, "I am so sorry she said that to you." And so there was a dialogue around, ageism and body shaming are like the last acceptable isms. Like, we think it's perfectly fine to judge and comment on someone else's
absolutely.
body, not knowing what they're going through, not knowing if it matters to them, not knowing their value system. We're all just placing our own lens on other people. And it's so, to your point, dangerous. And I think we just need to keep, to your other point, keep asking ourselves better questions.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
being able to talk openly about these things with women, I think about going gray. Like I would be completely gray if I didn't dye my hair. So
Okay. Oh, you look so good.
yeah, I mean, I hope so. My only thing that stops me is I don't want to feel like I need lipstick, like that feeling when you need to put.
Ah,
I feel like it's going to suck my energy away. It might not because maybe it'll be brighter than I think, and I'm down with that. But it's still the biggest decision on the freaking planet. It's like who, my sister who cares about being old much more than I do. I don't care about what age I am. Be old. She's like, "I'm not dyeing my hair," or, "I'm not dyeing my hair or going gray." And I'm like, "I would do it." She goes, "You're gonna look a decade older." I'm like, "Do you think I'm gonna look 68 tomorrow if I have gray hair? I don't think so. I'll probably look 58." Well, guess what? I am 58. Like, who
yeah.
cares? But it is a huge decision, and I mean, men don't go through this thing. Like, will a man like me? Will a man now see me as, like, I'm an old person rather than a young, vibrant person?
Right.
What does it say about me if I have gray hair? They're so
And I think that's the thing that we need to reconnect to is, what does it say about me if, and fill in that blank, because I have white chin hair. My chin hairs are white. They are like Arctic snow, and it's hard to pluck them because you can't always see them.
right.
But I also have them on the sides, and you know what? They never bother me. But you see, if I see a wrinkle on my forehead, I get really out of shape. I
Mm.
get really out of shape. So we all have our things that, like, I could care less about gray hair, but I still haven't made peace with, like, a lined forehead. And I would like to, because I would like to be that version of myself. I would like to know how empowered and comfortable in my own skin I could be to let it do what it naturally does. I'm not there yet. And I accept that in this moment. I'm working towards it.
We're all works in progress. I am a 100% work in progress. I'm being honest when I'm out there speaking, saying what I really feel, and I'm a work in progress. Am I 100% happy with myself? No, but I'm pretty darn happy with myself, and
Yeah.
I feel worthy of being in front of you speaking, and
Yes.
what I have to say is important. Um, and I'm going to change. I'm changing constantly. I'm growing. I'm on this journey, and I'm willing to share the journey with you. I think
Yes.
when we so many people that want to speak want to be this shiny, like I'm there, and this is how I did it. Like
I'm already there. Yes.
we're never there. We're never gonna be there because there's always a new place to go, and I'm
Yeah.
sharing this journey as I'm on it, and openly and willingly, and knowing that I'm gonna keep on changing, and tomorrow I might decide I wanna go gray, and when I do, I'll be
Exactly.
all in. It happens for me, decisions like that happen in a flash. Today,
I
no,
love it.
yes, and then I'll be fine with it once I make that decision. Um,
Okay. So, I remember seeing something that the great actress Emma Thompson said once about something around like, boy, I sure really invested my time well worrying about that body of mine. instead of focusing on the talent and the joy and all the things. And that really, who it spoke to me. And I don't know what your journey was like with your daughter, but I have a 15-year-old niece, as you know, that I help raise, who at 15, and she has an incredibly healthy sense of self-esteem. She's so intuitive and in tune with herself. She knows very clearly who she is. Like, she is an old soul, and I love that. And she's a communicator, and I love that. And fat comes up a lot more. I look fat in that photo. Don't take a picture of me. I don't like how I look. Ugly comes up. Now, never mind what she actually looks like. She's a stunning, beautiful girl with a beautiful body, but it I am navigating my way through that with her every step of the way because my mother didn't give me the words or language, nor did she give me the help I needed. So I don't have the tools, but I'm in it with her. And I tell her that. I'm like, I don't have the tools, but we're going to figure it out. So, what advice do you have for me, for her, around how to navigate a young woman can navigate her relationship with her body in hopes of not carrying this baggage around for decades?
Yeah. Well, I think talking about it is the first step and giving, like you said, holding space for you to reflect back to her and not to,
Yeah.
when someone says, "Oh my God, I look fat," and you say, "No, you don't," like that usually isn't very helpful because that person is in their head and that's really how they feel. And if we can, this is why I want to talk about what I want to talk about, because if the bigger conversation was what it matters more who you are than what you look like, it wouldn't we wouldn't be judging ourselves quite the same way. It's like, were you a good person today? Were you kind to people?
Right.
Did you do anything that moved someone else forward? Did you move yourself forward in life today? Or did you just eat a cupcake that you shouldn't have eaten and like now you feel fat? It's we got to put things in perspective. It's so out of whack that when we look at ourselves, that's how we feel, and it's real. Like, I'm sure
It's so real.
there's nothing to you're not gonna be able to talk someone out of those comments.
No,
I'm super grateful my daughter did not have problems with food or weight. She is
that's
gorgeous,
amazing.
and she just had a baby last year, and she the most
You have
beautiful
a granddaughter
he is
or grandkid?
grandson.
Grandson.
She was the most beautiful pregnant person and the most beautiful mother, and let me tell you, I never expected this from her at all. She never grew up saying, "I wanna have babies," nothing.
Yeah.
Kinda spoiled, so I don't know, I just did not expect the amount of love
Oh,
that
Cheryl.
came out of her, and that's what's making her extra beautiful is this love, and some days she looks, like a person who just rolled out of bed, others days she looks like a supermodel, and she never comments about either. She just is, like, in the moment,
Ugh,
in the day. I'm like, whatever I did, I don't not I'm not taking responsibility for it, but whatever space I held or whatever grace you gave me, universe, to let my daughter have,
ow.
she teaches me and she heals me by the way that she's being. And, I think that we have to have the conversations. We have to have room for the conversations and we have to
We do.
reality check. Like, is this really the most important thing about who you are right now? Like, I think
Yeah.
it's a good question to ask a young person. Is
I
this
like that. I'm
is
gonna
this
use that. I'm taking her shopping tomorrow. I'm gonna use that.
yeah, it's like, what makes you feel good? There who are you comparing yourself to right now that makes you
Yes.
feel like you're
That's another question.
good? Because then if they give you an answer to that, you can shred that one, you can say, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, does she this? Does she that? Does she that?" And bring out all the qualities of that person, of your niece. Um, I think it's that constant reality check. And
Yeah.
as women, we have to be vigilant for each other. It's like it's such a complex thing because we're in it on our own, having our own demons and our own battles and our own struggles. And then we want to show up for other women. If your friends talked about themselves the way that we talk to ourselves, like, don't you get mad at them? It's like, oh my God, what are you even saying right now? I don't see that at all. I see you, my fabulous friend,
Yes.
and you mean it, right? So
Yeah,
you have no problem shutting it down when it's your friend talking about themselves.
exactly.
What we're doing to ourselves is 10 times worse. So it takes, I feel like it's going to take all of us, and I want to start this conversation out loud as I can, so that people will start thinking differently and saying different things and caring about different things and
Yeah.
holding each other up for different things rather than, wow, you look gorgeous. And you can also be gorgeous. Like,
Yes.
be gorgeous, right?
Yes.
Be
Yes.
gorgeous and don't let it be the most important thing in your life.
Don't let it be the most important thing. Yes, my niece is very beautiful, and when she was little, we never talked about her appearance because I was like, "I just don't even wanna talk about it." And I don't know that we did her a service there. I just remember this one story that I'll share. This was this was a tough moment for both of us. She's probably around 6, and we were gonna go run an errand, just her and I, and it was summer, so it was hot, and I had a tank top on, and she went like this to my arm and went, "Blubber, blubber, blubber."
Mm,
Like, super playful,
mhm.
not judgy, but playful. She doesn't know at 6 that I've had eating disorders, and that's the worst thing you could ever do to me, and I've always been very conscious not to be reactive in my relationship with her because my mother was very reactive. So, I took a pause, sucked up all that pain, and I looked at her and I said, "I'm sorry. I don't think I taught you how to talk to women about their bodies." And she started bawling, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I was like, "Would you say that to your friends? Would you say that to your mom? Would you say," and she was like, "No, and it was such a beautiful moment because I didn't repeat what was done to me. She obviously felt horrible about it, but we, like, worked through it, and I think that's really the key, and it's something I've learned to do later in life with myself. Something we have my husband and I have an agreement with her that we call them our constants. We always love you. If we're mad, we'll work it out, and I can't remember what the 3rd one is, but it's, like, basically, like, regardless of what shit goes sideways, we'll come back together. And I think the earlier we can do that with our own bodies, with our own relationship with ourself, like, "Hey, self, no matter what shit goes down, we're in this together, and I'm committed to you." Like, I didn't learn that till my 40s that I could be committed to myself.
Right. I mean, that's one thing that I'm working on right now in the phase of recovery that I'm in is caring about my body from a different space, from responsibility and um wanting to feel better,
Yeah.
and just I'm grateful for my body for all that it does, and also I know I need to take better care of it. And but coming at it from a place of like I choose to take better care of you because I want to feel better is a very
Yes.
different dynamic than I need to look a certain way or I need to weigh a certain amount and I need to be a certain size person. So coming at it from a totally different perspective now.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious in midlife, what's bringing you joy?
What's bringing me joy is being a grandma, and my grandson is he's the happiest baby I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking, and he's cute AF. And his personality just makes him like triple cute. It's really obnoxious how cute he is. And just honestly, more than that is witnessing my daughter being a mom and
Yes.
seeing that it brings her such joy and that it's like tethering her to the earth and giving her purpose. She's found an amazing husband and he adores her. Like I am all in on this whole little family thing going on over there. That brings me
Oh,
a lot of
Cheryl.
joy. Yeah. And
That is beautiful.
I love that, and I love that I'm still going, like, I'm still growing, I'm still
I don't want that to ever end.
it's never going to end, and when I say I'm
Yeah.
gonna rest when I get old, I'm never gonna stop, like, I am built this way to keep learning, growing, stretching, and I'm really proud of myself that I'm still in it and still putting myself out there in ways that people don't even, they don't even dream of. So that brings me joy.
That's so beautiful. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, I have loved this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If people want to learn more about your work, your movements, where can they go?
I have a website, CherylGirard.com. You can contact me there. You can see all the different things that I do. Um, I also have Instagram. Cheryl Girard Art is my Instagram handle, and Cheryl Girard on Facebook.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, Cheryl, thank you for joining us in Midlife today.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. It was so great to talk with you and see you, your
Yes.
vibrant loveliness. I always love being
Oh,
around your energy.
thank you. And for everyone listening, I know this was meaningful. I know this was super impactful. We don't actually talk enough on this podcast yet. Let me say yet about body, about our relationship with body, especially in midlife because it's shifting and changing. And I was saying this on another podcast, like we can white knuckle it or we can surrender and find a more graceful way. So I hope this has been supportive of that journey for everyone. And until next time, everybody have a good time in midlife. Thanks so much, everybody.